What is going on with you guys? TheCaliEffect, king of games here, and I hope everyone's weekend was fun. Mine was interesting. I got to stream on Twitch resorting cards, but more importantly, I got my hair retwisted, and that's always a pain. My barber also didn't come through, so I got really creative and decided to get, the clippers myself and lost my beard. So, rest in peace, beard. Yeah. But beside that and all other miscellaneous things, I had a great weekend. I hope that you guys had a great weekend as we prepare for the new Phantom Rage set. The Phantom Rage set has support for strategies that are seen as top competitors like Prankin and Phantom Knight, but then it also introduces support to like Arcana Force and Dark World. Regardless, there are some high impact cards in the Phantom Rage set that is bound to change the landscape of the Yu-Gi-Oh card meta. In this video, we are going to be talking about the top meta decks post the Phantom Rage set. These decks are expected to compete in this meta and change the landscape of the entire card game. Not only that, there are a few generic cards that will help against some of these top tier strategies currently, so I have good faith inside of this set, even though it's expensive. Very, very expensive. One of the strongest strategies from the Phantom Rage set, or at least I would hope, because that's kind of what the set is named after, is the Phantom Knight strategy. Now, the Phantom Knight strategy is a mid-range deck. For the players that don't know exactly what mid-range is, it means that it is a combo deck that can play a control-based style that are based off of ghostly knights in armor. Kind of like the Mummy. Do you guys remember the Mummy? Probably the only person that remembers the Mummy. He's got the Mummy, something got the Mummy. Your Phantom Knights monsters have some decent on-field effects that are often ignored, like Mokuba getting kidnapped, in favor of their graveyard effects that allow you to either search Phantom Knight cards or send Phantom Knight cards from your deck to the graveyard. The deck is incredibly hard to hand trap, as Cherubini, one of the deck's main choke points, sends to the graveyard for cost. And while you can prevent them from comboing sometimes, they still have searchable disruptions in Phantom Knight's Fog Blade inside of the main board. Deck's main weakness is its graveyard reliance, and cards that are really popular in the game are Herald of Arclight and soon to be Virtual World QB Sanction can be pretty problematic for the Phantom Knight strategy if it doesn't already have its graveyard situation going. I do really think that the Phantom Knight strategy can be viable in this meta because it's still really good at being able to set up disruptions through hand traps going first, and it's also a deck that is really good going second, using cards like Breaksword and the Rebellion cards to not only break your opponent's board, but follow up with some huge damage. It's kind of a testament how this deck still stands as one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh, even with cards specifically from the Phantom Rage set gunning for it. Yeah, that's a pun. Rocket Dragon Link is probably one of the most consistent Yu-Gi-Oh decks of all time. Building boards even while playing through hand traps, it's almost reminiscent of Pendulum in 2018. Hopefully it gets the Pendulum treatment. The concept of Rocket Dragon Link is to make huge boards when going first, typically consisting of a Heretic Seal, a Herald of Arclight, Warlord Savage Dragon, and the Buster Lock, which will prevent your opponent from special summoning from the extra deck. Now, Rocket Dragon Link being able to consistently make this board isn't necessarily a problem. The problem lies is that this deck can consistently do it through hand traps, and even after you break the board, the strategy tends to have quite a few cards in its hand for an insane follow-up. It seriously feels like when you play against this deck, you're bringing a knife to a rocket fight, and instead of using your dominant hand, you use your opposite hand, and they're just like, rocket out of here, bro. Fortunately for us, there are some new cards in the Phantom Rage set that can help us combat the rocket strategy. Alpha the Master of Beasts dodges Heretic Seal because its summon is not once per turn. I'm still tripping over that. Its summon is not once per turn. And then there's cards like Zeus's Batteries. I'm not going to say this card's name. It's ridiculous. That will allow you to send their field to the graveyard multiple times, preventing them from making a board. Rocket Dragon Link is easily one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, but Phantom Rage just made it harder to be able to compete for that top spot. Now, it's been a long time since Beast Warriors have been impactful, and Alpha the Master of Beast almost ensures that the type will have a future. But for right now, there is a strategy that provides a spark for many competitive relevant decks. The TriBrigade strategy is a Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast deck specifically built to help the decks of the same type. allowing you to link summon by banishing Beast Warriors, or Winged Beast monsters in the graveyard. The TriBrigade Link monsters have some pretty good effects, all from summoning monsters to your side of the field, attack reduction, and even banishing cards on the field when a Beast, Winged Beast, or Beast Warrior monster is summoned to your side of the field. So basically, when you play the deck, you get the banish cards when you play the deck. The deck's spells and traps are also very formidable, allowing you to be able to special summon generic Beast Warriors, or Winged Beast monsters to your side of the field, to even allowing you to use your banished Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast monsters for a link summon. How many times am I going to say Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast? This is a lot to say. TriBrigade has previously been used with strategies like Zodiac and Harpies with great success, and with Alpha Master of the Beast reaching its top potential being played inside of these strategies, this deck is bound to hit the top meta. Playing TriBrigade with another strategy seems to be the deck's biggest fit, but balancing TriBrigade with the other strategy is also a problem within itself. And another promising thing about the TriBrigade strategy is that it is a part of the Fallen Albaz dogmatic allure, meaning that it will continue to get support with sets to come. As long as there are combo decks in the top meta, the Dino strategy will always have a room to compete. Taking full advantage of decks that want to set up with multiple negations, or even prevent the opponent from summoning from the extra deck, the Dino strategy does a minimal of both, which is advantageous when your opponent wants to stop you from doing something you don't do. The deck even has a middle finger, a blanket to most disruptions in the form of Miscellaneousaurus, which not only prevents them from preventing you from doing your stuff, it summons a Dino monster to your side of the field. How can you not love this card? I think Dino currently is best played as a pure deck, strictly due to the fact that it is the least reliant on what the meta decks want to counter, which is of course stopping the extra deck and those massive disruptions. Take for example that rocket board that I did mention earlier with Borreload, Savage Dragon, and Heretic Seal and all the crazy things. The Dino strategy actually finds those boards a little easier to break than most decks, strictly because Ultimate Conductor Tyranno can attack every single one of those cards, if not flip them face down, as long as you back it up by other natural cards in the Dino deck that just so happen to nullify those cards on the board. Now, where Dinos can struggle is against decks that are disruptive, but not in the same way that the combo decks that we are seeing right now. Decks that have graveyard manipulation, don't rely on targeting, or can play around Miscellaneousaurus because it only stops activated effects, do a really good job against the Dino strategy. It is really hard to take Dinos out of the equation though, so as long as players do play those combo decks like Rocket, Dragon, Link, Dinos will have an easy path to the top contention because it's easier at breaking them. The last strategy doesn't have my full vote of confidence, but it did receive support in the Phantom Rage set that makes it completely insane. I feel like the Prankin strategy at worst could be on the fringe of a top contending deck. Because of Prankid's Meow Meow, the deck now has 18 one-card starters that can end on a Prankid's Battle Butler, which means that you can destroy all of your opponent's monsters on their turn. Not only that, because the Prankid's engine is so small, you can play upwards to 14 hand traps inside of your deck, meaning that not only can you make a Prankid's Battle Butler within one card, your other cards can be dedicated to stopping your opponent's board or whatever other card that they wanted to use to beat your Battle Butler. Prankids also have a unique way to play through hand traps. Cards like Nibiru and Ash Blossom are really good against the strategy until they activate cards like Polymerization and continue to fuse. Now, Prankid's biggest weakness just so happens to be one of their greatest strengths. 19 starters inside of a deck seems really good until you break down with it in simple math. Odds of you drawing multiple starters are extremely high. One would mitigate this by playing more cards in the deck, but you actually need multiple starters to play through hand traps. The conundrum with Prankids is why you can make some pretty cool boards, the rest of your hand is often shaky. Sometimes you can have those great hand traps, sometimes you have to play through your opponent's hand traps, meaning you have less resources. Also, there are quite a few strategies that can play through Prankid's Battle Butler, as destroying all cards on your opponent's side of the field may seem like an amazing thing. Sometimes it's not. It's the worst thing you can ever do. Now, I do think that the Prankid strategy is a really good strategy, and if you guys want to see a deck profile, make sure to destroy that like button and let me know down below in the comment section. That's pretty much all that I have for the best decks in the current Yu-Gi-Oh meta. post the Phantom Rage set. As always, I want you to post down below in the comment section what are some strategies that I missed. Off the top of my head, I know I didn't include strategies like Infernal Knight, but that's where I have you guys. You can always let me know. Also, be sure to check out these other awesome videos, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.